Hello, I'm Anthony Hobbs, and this is my review of. Well, it's a bit unusual, this review, because it's about toys that I never played with as a child. Now, I've been a toy collector for many years, I've got loads of different toy collections, but then it suddenly occurred to me some of them are toys that I never actually played with when I was a child. Oh, they were trendy when I was a child, but I never actually played with them. And amongst this kind of toys, the Tonka Supernaturals, yeah. I never had one of these when I was a kid. Not because they were bad toys, no, just that there were so many different kinds of toys you could get, and there's only so many you can have at the time, or so many you can afford. You'd have to save up your pocket money for about 4 weeks. Well, it's got to be a really good toy worth to get, yeah. And there were other toys at the time that I liked better, yeah. Oh, I had nothing against them, yeah, I admired them. They had a cool toy commercial, yeah. Anyway, yes, it's very difficult to review one of these things on the internet because you can't see it. There's the hologram of the man's face. You turn it in, that's supposed to be a man with the head of an eagle, so he turns into an eagle creature like that when you move it, when you tilt it like that. But it is very hard to see. You can see it fine in real life. Oh yes, it's clear as anything there, but you can't see it very well when it's filmed, yeah. So how did they do the toy commercial on TV then? I don't know yet. All right, what are supernaturals? Well, they're immortal beings, and this one's a red Indian. They had one that was like a medieval knight, another one that was a Viking, another one that was like a skeleton, and another one that was like an ancient Egyptian cobra or something. The point is they transform, they change, yeah. Oh, there we are, that's better. That's the image of when he's an eagle man, and then he's a man. Anyway, first it's a man, then it's a beast, then it's a hologram, yeah. Anyway, but at the age of 8, when I first saw this commercial, I thought, wait a minute, so he transforms, but he doesn't really transform, does he? You just imagine him transforming. A transformer turns from robot to vehicle, and he physically does it. You don't imagine it, he actually does it. Whereas this one is just a picture. He doesn't transform at all, you're just supposed to imagine it. That's silly, that's rubbish, That's not proper transforming at all. So I thought the idea was silly. Now, more or less the same time, the Visionaries came out. Now, Visionaries, again, their gimmick was the toys have holograms. And each one had like what they call a chest plate, shaped a bit like a hexagon there. And he has a hologram of a fox, yeah. And again, I thought that's silly. Yeah, he doesn't transform into anything. You just imagine it. It's silly. But 1 year later, the Visionaries cartoon came to England. And I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing. And I saved up my pocket and I got lots of Visionary toys. And their vehicles as well. So, oh yeah, okay. So that's the power of television. Yes, suddenly I think something's really cool because it's in a cool TV show. Supernaturals had a comic book series, but they did not have a TV show. So they would have sold a lot better had they had their own show. And they're made by Tonka, for heaven's sake. Why didn't Tonka give them a TV show? They could afford it, but there we are. I guess they thought they don't have much of a backstory. No, you just they've got holograms and that's enough. Well, evidently, no, that is not enough. You've got to have a good story behind you as well, yeah. Now, what is better, Visionaries or Supernaturals? Well, it's a matter of opinion. They're both good, just in different ways. Like, for instance, I did have the chance to buy Supernaturals when I was a kid at jumble sales and car boot sales, but no, turned it down. Considered it, but didn't actually do it, yeah. But recently I thought, no, actually, there's something good about it. Okay, they don't change like a transform with lots of twists and turns and articulation like that, and they don't physically transform, but in a way, if it turns from hologram to that, it's quicker. The transformation is quicker. It turns into this strange mutant creature in a split second. Whereas Transformers, you need about 4 or 5 minutes to transform it into something else. No, this is much, much quicker. A split second transformation, yeah. So in a way, that's good, yeah. And something else. This is a visionary, and he's supposed to turn into an animal. They all turned into a different animal. He turns into a fox, but it's just a picture of a fox. He doesn't physically transform. You're just supposed to imagine it, yeah. Whereas the supernatural, the hologram isn't on a square or a hexagon. No, it's the silhouette, it's the outline of what the thing is supposed to look like when it transforms. So in a way, that's better. That's a better transformation because it's the outline of what the creature's meant to be. A human and then a humanoid creature. Human, then a humanoid animal creature, yeah. In this case, it's an eagle. There was another one that turned into like a mutant lion, another one that turned into, I think it was a skeleton, another one turned into a mutant cobra snake thing. So yeah, it varied. They had lots of different things, yeah. But as I said, there are good things about this and good things about the other one. This supernatural toy has little or no articulation. There, look at that. That's as far as his legs can turn, and that's it. Yeah, not very much. Good for display, but not a lot of playability. It can't move about that much. Whereas the Visionary toys had loads of articulation. You can swivel at the elbows there. You can bend the knees. Yeah, everything. Yeah, swivel at the waist. Yeah, loads of articulation. A removable helmet. Everything. Yeah, and I thought that was way cooler when I was a kid. Yeah, it's so much articulation. It's as if the toys come to life. Yeah, and because these were made by Hasbro, yes, that's very like the G.I. Joe thing. But and also something else. This one only has 4 points of articulation, and they had vehicles, but they can't sit down in them properly because they can't bend the knees. It's very gory. They sort of stand awkwardly inside the supernatural vehicle, so that's a bit silly. That's not very good toy making. Visionaries, however, could perfectly sit in their vehicles because they had so much articulation. So yes, that had been thought out a bit better. Nevertheless, I still think, yeah, the holograms on Visionaries look cool, but it's a bit silly that it doesn't really transform. You're just supposed to imagine it, yeah. Whereas the supernatural thing, yeah, it transforms better. In a split second, you see the outline of what the transformation is supposed to be. And Supernaturals, Visionaries took place on an alien planet called Prismos, because I'm pretty sure that the Supernaturals, they lived on planet Earth. And because they're hundreds of years old, they're immortal, they're supernatural, yeah. And they fight the other bad guys of strange holograms. Did they ever fight on Halloween? If it's on planet Earth, yeah, that would make sense, yeah. So in other words, Supernaturals were not all bad. No, there were some cool things, very good quality holograms and all that. And not much articulation, but to make up for that, they had accessories, yeah. This one, Eagle Eye, when he goes into battle, well, not just him, the other Supernatural as well, he's got some body armour there, yeah. And he has a glow-in-the-dark weapon. Yes, a glow-in-the-dark spear. Yes, glow-in-the-dark was the cool thing to do in the late 80s. Yes, that's pretty cool. I did try filming this glow-in-the-dark spear in the dark, but the quality picture was all blurry and strange. So again, it looks cool in real life. Doesn't look so cool when you film it, yeah. But like the holograms, yeah. And yes, Visionaries had power staffs that had holograms on. Whereas, yep, there you go, the Supernaturals had shields of a hologram. He's got a hologram of like an eagle. Bit difficult to see. Will we ever get it? There, that's better, that angle there. So a hologram of an eagle, that's pretty cool. And because he's a Red Indian, he has a headdress like this, a load of rubber feathers like that. That's pretty cool. Looks more like a Red Indian, but it makes it harder to see the hologram. So that's not so good. No. And yes, well, the Supernaturals, yes, they had a Viking, a medieval knight, and an ancient Egyptian cobra, Red Indian. So something for everyone, yeah, whatever you want, yeah. So yeah, it should work, Supernaturals, lots of stuff to appeal to kids, but it's, I don't know, they needed a TV show to compete with Visionaries, and they needed better character development, better this, a bit more oomph. But I think I like the Supernaturals because they had potential, yes, and they had glow-in-the-dark weapons, and they had smaller versions of them called Ghostlings, only half the size, yeah. And they had this gimmick where you could take the hologram out and put it on a different one. They could swap holograms. So that's pretty cool as well. Visionaries had something like that. You could take the chest plate off and put it on. So they were clearly competing against one another, yeah. But, yeah, Visionaries were cool. I loved the cartoon as a kid. But the transformation sequence in hologram works a lot better with this. And isn't that what it's all about, the transformation? It's got to look good, hasn't it? Yeah. So in other words, I think if Supernaturals had had a cartoon, they would have been a good competitor for Visionaries. But having said that, a year later, Visionaries fizzled out, and consequently, Supernaturals fizzled out, yeah. And the drawback of holograms is they're very expensive to make. So unless the toy line is extremely successful, yeah, toy makers are not going to be willing to make them because you can't make money out of them, yeah. So they may be forgotten now, but yeah. I think a glow-in-the-dark weapon, that gimmick works for something that's eerie and ghostly, yeah. Holograms may not work for every toy line, but they worked for the Supernaturals, yeah. The holograms look cool on them. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm Anthony Hobbs, and I'm never bored.